love that call out to break down silos.
Yeah.
From our experiences working with the different functions of a university, we hear it time and time again, campus to campus, that there's these silos. And people end up getting stuck in their own little circles, and they shut out everything else going on campus. So using this as a rallying call to bring people together, bring that community together.
Exactly.
I love that. No, you mentioned your alumni and your fans.
Yeah.
Oftentimes in an athletic setting, they're going to be passionate, they're going to be loyal, they're going to let you know
of course,
what's on their mind.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that your department's doing from like a fan experience perspective, or some of the things that you're finding success with your season ticket holders, ways you're just engaging folks?
Yeah, so we just had our athletics golf outing a couple weeks ago, and from all accounts, now when I got to Lewis University, speaking with one of our alums, and he came to me and just came to my office when they just dropped in cold and just talked about, hey, golf outing has been suffering. It's been going downwards the last like 5-6 years. We got to be able to find a way to fine tune that. It was a great event to bring back the old, the new, the alums to congregate and talk about the great old days and have fun, but also help the athletic department. And I was like, yeah, sure. And before he left, I was like, you know what? You're going to be heading the committee. You're going to be the head of the committee for the golf outing. And he's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah, such great idea. So, we created a committee because I feel like just being my 1 year at Lewis, like we have a great alumni base.
Yeah.
They are so supportive. They care about us. They care about the student athletes. They care about the success. And it's like, well, if the golf outing is a way to have a good time, but also, provide support for our teams, let's put our best foot forward. Yeah. So it's just like, we started meeting about the golf outing in December. The golf outing is in June. We started meeting about it in December once a month. And as it got closer, twice a month. And it was like, well, let's find different ways to attract people there. Now, is it working with some of our partners to get some good raffle items? Is it, the food, the dinner, because they used to have a dinner, they took the dinner away. And it's just like, let's provide an experience for them, where experience that they can come and be proud of, that's going to help them be proud to be a flyer. And they're going to go back and talk to some of their other friends that are alums that weren't there, and talk about how great of a time they have. Because then, as you guys know, the best recommendation is word of mouth. Yeah. So
that's brand equity.
Yeah, exactly. We're able to have a great golf outing this year, and we raised probably the most money we've raised in a very, very long time. And those are the types of things we're trying to do. We're trying to create an experience. We're trying to create, whether it's an athletic event, and we were just meeting as a senior staff a couple weeks ago just to talk about the year. And we have some people on my staff that are coaches and administrators that have been at Lewis for 15 plus years, and we talked about every event that we did this year, not just athletic events, but just like our Hall of Fame, our Fly Red Dinner, our Hall of Fame event, our Coaches Academy. And everybody said, like, all events that we did this year were just like a notch or two above what we've done in the past. And it's, again, I believe in
that's the feedback you're looking for.
That's exactly the feedback we're looking for. And it didn't just come from, we sent a survey out after our golf outing, and the survey from people that attended there was super positive too. And it's like, we want to continue to do that. We want to create these experiences. And it's not just going to come from us. It's going to come from our partners. I know you guys played a big part with our golf outing and helping us out. We
appreciate the shout out.
That, so that was helpful. So it takes a village. It takes, our staff, our coaches, our corporate partners, our supporters, and things of that nature to make those happen. But it's going to be important. And one thing we want to do this year too, and we did a really good job of it last year, is creating those. We want you to come to an athletic event, and hopefully we win, which we do a lot of. We win a lot. But if we win or we lose, we want you to walk away from that event saying, wow, I had a great time. Yeah. And hopefully you walk away with a free T-shirt or something from that event. So it's like, we're really trying to pay more attention to that and just kind of create an atmosphere where people just come and have fun. What we did this past year, our student section, we rebranded it as the Cockpit.
I love that.
A lot of our students that come out to the games, they have a lot of fun over there. It's
Do you get the students dressed up as pilots and stuff?
Yeah, we had something. I think it was around Halloween. We had that. We had those couple of students did do that, but they come there and just have fun. They just come there and have fun. So it's been good that way. And again, like I said, it helps when you have really good partners to kind of be able to find ways to create those environments that you want to those memorable environments, people come and they have fun. They leave away with a great feeling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean,
Yeah.
you host these events to try to create that experience, create that feeling, get people leaving feeling all good inside.
Yes, exactly.
And then ultimately tying Lewis Athletics to that feeling.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, with the golf tournament, if I'm not mistaken, from doing some research, you had it at Cog Hill.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Has that always been where it's been, or is that a big shift?
No,
to go to a legendary course like that?
No, it's been there. I think for the last I think they told me that the last 10 years it's been there. Now they had it somewhere else prior to that, when the golf autumn was at its peak, we had enough to have 2 courses. This year we were actually almost at that number. We turned away some people late. But in the past, they had it at another golf course. I can't remember the name right now. But the golf courses were across the street from each other, so it was 2 different golf courses. So they didn't like that because it separated a bunch of the people. So they've had it at Cog Hill. We've been lucky, like you said. Cog Hill's an unbelievable place. We're lucky to have it there. They're great partners of ours. Our golf team uses Cog Hill too. So it's just another selling point for us to be able to have that partnership, and they're great. They work with us very great, very flexible. So it's a definitely memorable place. I remember when I first got here last year, just kind of still getting my wherewithal. They're like, they used to have PGA tournaments there. Yeah. It's a great course. And when I first went there, I was like, wow, you guys were in line. This place is unbelievable. We're lucky to have it here. It
is something else. And from a venue perspective, you talk about that experience for your alumni.
Yeah,
outstanding.
Yeah.
Hit a home run with that.
Exactly. We're looking forward to keeping it there. We don't want to go anywhere. Yeah.
Now you mentioned your student athletes and using that as a way to. As a selling point, if you will.
Yeah.
On your LinkedIn, you mention a tagline, curating an elite student athlete experience.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about what that means to you. You have that as a key saying for yourself. What's that? What goes behind that?
So the reason that I get up every day, that I'm excited on my drive to work, is because I get to work with student athletes. That's like my number one thing. That's my why. And it's like, being a former student athlete, being a parent of a student athlete, I feel the experience is paramount. I feel like, I want to, yes, we're a Division II school, really good Division II school program at that. And we have, unbelievable Division I men's volleyball program. But I want to create an experience for our student athletes where they're at Lewis University, but if they were anywhere else, they wouldn't miss out. They don't feel like they're missing out if they were at Loyola or Northwestern or whatever that might be. So It's always just, I feel like every day the reason why I get excited to do my job and do what I do is because I'm constantly trying to figure out a way and how to make this experience better for these student athletes, whether they're there for a year, whether they're there for 4 years, whether they're there for 5 years. Because again, it's like we talked about with the athletic events. The experience is what they're going to be talking about 5 years, 10 years from now, right? They're not going to be talking about the wins and losses. They might embellish how much points they scored in a certain game, like I'd still do in the group chat with my former teammates. But I think it's the experience, those memories, So I think that while they're there for whatever time it is, a year, 3 years, 4 years, we want to create that experience where they walk away and like, man, thank you guys for everything you guys did. Like those 4 years, those how many years were the best experience of my life. Yeah. And being a former student athlete, I feel like I'm biased. Again, we have a robust campus where we have grad students, we have a regular student body, we have all these different people. But I feel like, as the athletic director, assistant VP of athletics, like my number one focus is student athletes, right? Yeah. That's why that's the kind of my tagline, because I feel like I'm constantly finding a way and finding elements, and my staff and I too, that's their job too, to continue to elevate that student athlete experience. So, whatever that student athlete experience was this past year, we want to take it another level this upcoming year. Yeah. Right. So that's just something I truly believe.
Finding a way to level up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's something I truly believe in, because really that's where, in athletics we work long hours. We sometimes sacrifice time with our family for the sake of, other kids, and it's like, you have to find a motivation to be able to get up every day and do that. And that's my motivation. Just, the student athletes their experience is paramount to me. And it's like trying to find consistent ways to advocate and elevate that experience.
Well, and I would imagine your background as a father of a student athlete, and then for yourself as a former D1 student athlete, there's going to be lessons you learned from different seats.
Of course.
And how you can take those into the picture for the student athletes coming into Lewis now.
Exactly.
It all shapes what that level of opportunity could be.
Exactly. What we've learned too during this past year, we've had some hirings that we've made lately and some changes in the staff, and it's like, one of my coaches mentioned to me that they're like, man, we're getting, I've been here for 5-6 years, we're getting a higher level of candidates that are applying for our jobs. And I think that what we're doing from a game experience, what we're doing from obviously the success that we're having, and what we're doing from a student athlete experience point of view, I think that's starting to get out there. I think those things are starting to get out there, and people want to be part of the Flyer Nation. They want to be a Flyer. So it's just helping the overall product, right? It's the whole, and the overall experience, the overall Lewis experience. So all that stuff is important. But the student athlete experience, again, that's the one thing that is on my mind every single day in terms of how do we continue to elevate this?
Oh, I love that. And I think that mindset of continuing to find ways to grow, it's critical to any athletics department that's going to find success and continue to be servicing students first.
Exactly.
You talk about servicing the students, making that your why.
Yeah.
Behind that, though, and what fuels that is going to be a championship culture.
Yeah.
It's something that I know you've worked hard to build through the years, and now you're applying it to Lewis.
Yeah.
What goes into building that culture?
Well, I think it's, with cultures that the word gets thrown around a lot. It's like there's really not much to it. It's what you do every day. It's how you approach every day. And I feel like, I've been blessed, especially here at Lewis University, with a staff and coaches who want to. I know you guys there's a sign somewhere when we're doing the tour. It said, winning is fun.
Yeah. One of our core values.
Yeah, that's the same thing, which is championship culture. There's a lot of other parts to college athletics. We're here, first of all, to mentor student athletes. We want them to get their degree. But along the way, too, right, there's a scoreboard up for a reason.
Yep.
We want to win, and winning is fun. So, we want to continue to grow that championship culture, and that's what my coaches, my staff, so we do on a day-to-day basis. We're looking for ways, again, how do we keep that championship culture? And, you look at what we've done this past year, being the coming 11th in the Learfield Directors Cup as the 11th best Division II athletic program in the country. I think that we do a good job of that. And it's like, one thing that we want to do as a staff, as a department, we don't want to rest on our laurels. So, we were 11th in the country, but how do we get to be in the top 10? How do we get to be third? How do we get to be number one? Right. So, again, it goes back to what we do every day, how we approach.
Number one in the state of Illinois.
Number one in the state of Illinois, regardless of level. Division I, Division II. So the Loyolas are there, the Northwesterns are there. We've been, when you look at the Learfield Cup in the last, I think, it was 12 years since 2014. When you look at that ranking, we're number one in the state of Illinois. So, I think the championship culture was already there before I got there, but I think that it's my job to continue to take it to a higher level and make that be consistent, make that be the standard.
Yeah.
Right. So again, it goes back to that's what we do every day. That's what the championship culture is, how we approach everything. Right.
I love that, and I know Brett will attest to this. That's our mindset internally with our own culture. It's that daily discipline. Yeah. It's setting that standard of this is what I need to do in order to go find the success that I need to find. Yeah,
so we're 11th in the country in the Learfield Cup, and we don't want that to be like, oh wow, that was a great year. No, we want that to be the standard. That's where we should be on a year-to-year basis, and then trying to find ways to elevate that.
So what is the Learfield Directors Cup for our listeners out there? What does that mean for an athletics department?
So Learfield Directors Cup, I'll try to explain it as short as possible. But Learfield Directors Cup is basically so all the teams in the country, whether it's Division I, Division II, Division III, you're getting points based on the success of every single one of your teams in the postseason. So start from the
postseason specifically.
Just postseason. Okay. Just postseason. So how well your team's doing in the postseason. So the fall season's coming up right now. For us, we have men's soccer, we have women's soccer, we have women's volleyball. So those teams, as they go through their seasons, when they get to the postseason, when they get to the NCAA tournament, the postseason, how deep they play in the postseason gets them points. So if they just only play one game in the NCAA tournament and they're eliminated, they don't get that many points. So if they win the national championship, they get the most points. So each team is tallying up those points as the year goes along. And so at the end of the year, those points are totaled. Well, you get a report. You get the report at the end of the fall sports season to see, okay, this is where you're at in terms of athletic department, winter season and spring season. So within Division II, there's probably around, I think, like 300. Yeah, just 300 Division II schools.
Just a few.
So within 300 Division II schools, all those teams, every team of every institution is raking up those points as the year goes along.
Okay.
At the end of the year, the final Directors Cup points total comes out, and so we were able to be last year so I got here in April last year, and we ended the year in 20th place in the country as in the Directors Cup, and then this year we're able to get to 11th place.
I mean, that trend says next year's the year.
Yeah, next year's the year. We're now. So I told my staff this last year at our staff retreat that, like, hey, it's probably if we were like in 70th place, it's a little easier to go from like 70th to like 50 or like 70th to like 40. But I was like, we're in 20th place, so it's gonna be a little bit harder to start climbing that ladder.
Yeah.
And what do? We go from 20th to 11th. But seriously, I'm going to repeat that same message this year. Now it's going to be to break into that top 10.
Setting the standard.
It's going to be even harder. But again, like you said, that got to be our standard, because if we're talking about championship culture, it's what we do day in, day out. We want to we want to play as deep as possible. And again, it goes back to like winning is fun.
Absolutely.
Right? We want to win. We want to win in the classroom, win in the community, but we also want to win on the field.
So there's a lot of winning happening on the field in Romeoville right now.
Yeah.
I mean, being ranked number 11 in the Directors Cup is a reflection of it.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about come the fall academic semester coming up? Like, what seasons do you feel really good about?
I feel good about every season.
Yeah.
Right? I feel good about every season because, again, that's the expectation, right? So, from our soccer, I was just talking to our men's and women's soccer coaches last week just to say, hey, coaches, they're very bashful. They don't want to talk about the season yet. They want to see, how the kids come out. I'm like, what are you thinking? What do you think? We got to run in us? And they're like, if this piece comes together, we got to get this. We got to work on this. So I'm excited, man. That's the fun thing about being at Lewis. Like, every team is going to compete at a high level. Every team is competing to be in the NCAA, and it's not far fetched to say, all of our fall sports team can make it to the NCAA tournament. So I'm just excited. The summer, it's too quiet in the summer, so I'm just excited to get our student athletes back on campus and to start competing. I love competition. I love the cream rising to the top. And, I'm looking forward to all of our sports. We got some new coaches that we just added. I'm looking forward to working with them to see what they can do with the programs that they inherited. But it's getting like it's about a month away. So I'm looking forward to our fall sports teams getting on campus and starting to work hard.
Well, and we've seen it, servicing all the different departments across the campus, the impact that success on the field can have from just generating excitement on campus and with other events, and it's something that brings that whole campus together, especially in the fall. They get that return to campus, got new students starting. It's going to be their first basketball game, their first soccer game, all those experiences, they'll be part of that core memory on campus.
Of course.
It's just an outstanding, I think, opportunity for the athletics department to support the greater mission.
Exactly.
You got it.
Yeah, definitely.
So you think about, at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that probably make you proud, from running the department, the people that you support, the students, your employees, all of it.
Yeah.
What are you most proud of if you reflect back on your first year at Lewis?
Oh, man, there's a lot of things, but I feel like, what am I most proud of? Oh, boy. I think that there's a lot of different things I can pick, but I feel like, just being able to have a more cohesive athletic department, and I think that matriculates into being a great campus partner. Just like you alluded, I think that, athletics is the front porch of the university, right? And, I feel like the nice support you have with the, you refinish the porch, it's shiny, people, you cut your grass really well and everything looks good if people are walking by. So I feel like all the efforts that we do, that we put into making that front porch more attractive, and it takes a lot of work from a lot of different people. Yeah. So it's just like continue. I think that, I have a good friend. She works in college athletics too. And one thing she told me not too long ago was like, hey, she's like, I know more about Lewis University a year into your tenure than I did before. And she's like, I think you guys did a really good job. I'm proud of the job you guys do. Then it definitely takes a team. So I think that, dressing up. We probably in the sake of like, working on the house, we did some improvements in our front porch, right? It looks a little bit better. We have a little bit better curb appeal, I feel like. So yeah, I think that's probably what I'm going to be most proud of.
I love that, the curb appeal aspect of athletics for a university. Yeah. I think back to my decision as a prospective undergraduate student. I ended up choosing a school that had D1 football because I wanted that experience as a student.
Of course.
So there's ways that it bleeds into everything.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And that curb appeal is absolutely something you got to get right.
Yeah.
Love that.
Definitely.
So I think the road to success within an athletics department can be windy at times from what you explained. There's a lot of steps in the ladder. What words of encouragement would you give to maybe prospective listeners out there that are considering getting a career started in athletics?
Yeah, I think it's just first thing is understanding your why, right? I think that, like I said, working in college athletics, and I explain it to like my wife sometimes, like, I was like, when you're sitting down at, a Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving and you turn on the TV, that's everybody's favorite thing is to turn on like the football game or watch some kind of athletic event. It's like, there's a lot of people behind the scenes that are not at home with their family that are there putting on those events. So, working in athletics, it's I love it, but it's also like, there's some sacrifices that you make. So you have to, your why has to be aligned with, with working with athletics. Like it has to be able to motivate you on a day-to-day basis. So it's like, getting into it for the right reasons. Right. And, if I can speak to former student athletes, it's like, use the same traits, same characteristics, same things you learn as a student athlete to be able to apply it into college athletics or getting started in college athletics, and it'll definitely pay dividends for you to be able to advance and leave a lasting impression and do a good job.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you find most administrators have a background as at least a student athlete?
Yeah, there's a lot that do.
Yeah,
quite a bit that do. And I think it goes back to what I said when I first started. It's like it's kind of like you're identified by it for so long. It's all that you know, and it's just natural to kind of stay in it and be a leader within it, within college, within athletics. So yeah, I found a lot. Now there are some that didn't. That maybe they were. They had some family that played college athletics, but a lot that I run into had some kind of tie, whether they were a student athlete, whether they were a manager for a team. But yeah, there's always some kind of connection to sports, to be able to stay in it and work in it.
Love that. Well, John, it's been a pleasure having you come in the club today. I think our listeners have enjoyed learning a little bit about what's happening in Romeoville and all things Flyers.
Yes, sir.
They'll be flying as one with you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
John, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.